Welcome to the Robert D. Gaylor Non-Commissioned Officer Academy virtual graduation ceremony for Class 21-6. I am Technical Sergeant Valerie Stabler, your MC for today's ceremony, assisted by Technical Sergeant Michael Fontaine. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Singer Herman Bagley from Band of the West and the invocation by Chaplain Pacurad.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please join me in prayer. Most gracious and loving God, we thank you for being with us at this graduation ceremony to give honor to those who have set their hearts to do their best and to achieve excellence. Today we are truly blessed. The best are among us. We pray for our non-commissioned officers, wingmen, leaders, and warriors, and give thanks to you for their hard work, dedication, and service to our country. We also pray and give thanks to their leadership team, instructors, family members, and friends who contributed to their success and helped them succeed. May this graduation day be a celebration of your blessings and grace among them all. May you strengthen them and give them courage as they continue to lead the way and make a difference to our great Air Force. In your precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Pacurad. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our Commandant, Chief Master Sergeant Andrew Small, thank you for attending today's graduation ceremony. We would also like to give a special thank you to our award sponsors, whose contributions are critical to our professional military education program. Our award sponsors are the Air Force Association, Celebrate Excellence, USAA, and Geico Local Office. Today marks our 108th graduation ceremony since 30 March 2006, when the Lackland NCO Academy was renamed the Robert D. Gaylor NCO Academy to honor our 5th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. On 15 July, the students of Class 21-6 joined the Robert D. Gaylor NCO Academy virtual course to increase their impact as leaders. Each of them understood that leadership is an honor that must be earned every day, and by their performance over the last 4 weeks, they have proven themselves ready to serve in future leadership roles. At this time, we will recognize the graduates of Class 21-6.
Total Force Crimson's Hustler 6 was comprised of 4 OSI agents and 2 Security Forces members: Special Agent Adriana Vorderbruggen, Special Agent Chester McBride, Special Agent Peter Taub, Special Agent Michael Cinco, Technical Sergeant Joseph Lim, and Staff Sergeant Louis Bonacasa. The members were all assigned to Bagram Air Base's Expeditionary Detachment 2405, Afghanistan. On 21 December 2015, the deadliest day in OSI history, the Hustler 6 went on an outside-the-wire mission in a local village to obtain information critical to the air base's security. While on foot patrol during their mission, a suicide bomber on a motorcycle approached them and detonated, killing all 6 members. The flight is named to honor their memory and remember their sacrifice.
Now introducing Crimson Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Terrence Scott, Bertrand Baker, Mishima Bourne, Jasmine Carson, James Dodson, Mark Green, Anthony Henson, Sean Honeysett, Jessica Irwin, Adam Lewis, Jared Marshall, Adrian O'Neill, Sean Richardson, Daniel Stetson, James Wester, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Sylvia Smith.
Mako 30 was a call sign of the SEAL Team 6, whose mission was to take control of the Takugar mountain peak during Operation Anaconda. On March 4, 2002, the team's MH-47 Chinook took heavy fire, and Petty Officer First Class Neil Roberts fell from the back. The Navy SEALs, along with Technical Sergeant John Chapman, attempted to recover Petty Officer First Class Roberts, but fell under heavy fire when they touched down. Technical Sergeant Chapman was shot and believed to be killed, and the SEAL team was forced to retreat. Footage showed Technical Sergeant Chapman still alive and fought for several hours after encountering enemy forces, before he was shot and killed. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor on August 22, 2018. The flight was named to honor Mako 30 and their bravery.
Now introducing Mako Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Dieri DiGiusti, Daniel Balcazar, Brianna Boykin, Brandon Bush, Case Crisp, Johnny Eland, Tara Kinderman, Joshua Kingori, Michael Lamaster, Shanada McFadden, Christopher Medford, Jonathan Rico, Sarah Rodolfo, Kevin Watts, Clint White, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Jessica Sloat.
In 2005, while serving in the United States Air Force in Afghanistan, then Technical Sergeant Israel Del Toro was following routine orders when his Humvee rolled over a buried pressure plate mine and exploded. The blast left him in a coma for nearly 3 months, with burns covering the majority of his body. He was given a 15% chance of survival, but Del Toro defied the odds and made a miraculous recovery. Despite the obstacles, Del Toro remained determined and made a promise to himself that he would return to active duty one day. In less than a year after the accident, he was walking and breathing on his own and was awarded the Purple Heart for his bravery in the face of adversity. In 2010, Del Toro achieved his goal and became the first 100% combat-disabled Air Force technician to re-enlist. The flight was named to honor Senior Master Sergeant Del Toro's dedication and sacrifice to service.
Now introducing Del Toro Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Catherine Brock, Jonathan Apaza, Jacob Beltz, Michelle Davis, Larry Dybovic, Jacoby Fenner, Kyle Hughes, Gregory Jenkins, Anthony Lee, Mercedes Rucoder Garcia, Jesse Solano, John Stayrook Hobbs, Leonardo Suarez, Stephen Westerdale, Zane Woodall, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Michael Fontaine.
On his first mission, May 1, 1943, Staff Sergeant Maynard Snuffy Smith saved the crew of a B-17 Flying Fortress over the skies of France after they drifted off course and were taken on gunfire from German fighters. In between helping his wounded comrades, Smith manned the machine guns and fought a raging fire. For nearly 90 minutes, Smith alternated between shooting and attacking fighters, tending to the wounded, and fighting the fire. To starve the fire of fuel, he threw burning debris and exploding ammunition through large holes in the aircraft. After the fire extinguishers were exhausted, Smith finally managed to put the fire out, in part by urinating on it. For his gallantry and bravery, Staff Sergeant Smith was awarded the Medal of Honor. For these same reasons, the flight was named in his honor.
Now introducing Smith Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Stephanie Terry, Michael Babin, Joshua Barton, Dustin Bayer, Aaron Bedker, Jeffrey Custodio, Crystal Dale, Andrew Denny, Nathan Mack, Jonah Myers, Paul Nelson, Lynn Lenore Proctor, Dylan Sluter Brem, Chelsea Varela, Joshua Wright, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Kaylin Ravel.
On 2 November 2016, an AC-130U gunship, Spooky 43 crew fought a 2-hour battle over Kunduz, Afghanistan. They were supporting a team of Army Special Forces and Afghan Army commandos who were on late-night mission to capture and kill Taliban leaders. Under heavy hostile resistance, 16 casualties were sustained early in the battle, and the crew fought back, firing danger close to ensure a return and safe landing. The crew successfully eliminated 50 enemy personnel and ensured the lives of friendly forces on the ground. Their heroic efforts granted them numerous air combat medals and accolades, including the McKay Trophy from Air Force Vice Chief of Staff, General Stephen Wilson.
Now introducing Spooky Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Ahmed Abdul Rahim, Emery Andrade, Clarissa Barrera, Andre Basset, Tanner Biggs, Jennifer Burton, David Garcia, Casey Gonzalez, Alan Hooper, Daniel Keeley, Al Kim, Patrick Moynihan, Terrell Phillips, Ryan Quick, Eduardo Rubacabla, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Adam Gibson.
On December 21, 2013, 3 CV-22 Ospreys took flight to evacuate members of the U.S. Embassy and American citizens from Bor, South Sudan. These aircraft consisted of Air Force and Navy Special Operations Forces, which were under the name Rooster Flight 73, 74, and 75. During their journey, the aircraft and members received heavy damage and injuries due to the surface-to-air fire. In order to save the many injured Special Forces and aircrew members, an Air Force pararescueman and his team set up a flying blood bank, which ultimately saved the lives of 34 members. They were awarded the Air Force McKay Trophy in 2014, which is the highest and most esteemed award of its kind in Air Force history. The flight was named in honor of their heroism.
Now introducing Rooster Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Manuel Carvajal, Gregory Gardinas, Alexandra Counts, Jonathan Evans, Cody Foreman, Jonathan Laskarian, Ian Linker, Ryan Mack, Jordan McGirt, Alexander Mello, Joy Otrix, Melvin Petway, Derek Podesta, Deandra Proctor, Emma Valdovinos, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Kurt Ali. Rooster Flight is also the winner of the Hot Fries Honor Flight competition.
On 27 April 2013, 4 airmen took off from Kandahar Air Base, Afghanistan, on board the MC-12W, call sign Independence 8, in support of Project Liberty. The crew was tasked with finding and tracking high-value enemy combatants, as well as providing overwatch for ground forces, enabling coalition forces to return home alive and safe. The mission was the first flight in Afghanistan and first combat flight in an MC-12 for pilot Captain Reed Nishizuku. At 12:40 a.m., Independence 8 encountered heavy clouds and, in their attempt to evade the weather, dramatically lost airspeed and found themselves in an unrecoverable stall. All 4 combat heroes gave their lives in service to their country on that morning. The flight was named to honor their sacrifice.
Now introducing Independence Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Cassandra Ryman, Ricky Adams, Andrew Barron, LaShawn Curry, Jeremy DeGiorgio, Wesley Diglio, Tobias Handy, Nathan Hardwick, Ashley Harris, Jacqueline Jones, Lawson McLester, Mitchell Miller, Kyle Ring, Gage Tressett, Hunter Young, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Corey Woods.
On 9 August 1945, Boxcar, sometimes called Boxcar, piloted by the 393rd Bombardment Squadron's commander, Major Charles W. Sweeney, dropped the Fat Man nuclear bomb with a blast yield equivalent to 21 kilotons of TNT over the city of Nagasaki. About 44% of the city was destroyed. 35,000 people were killed and 60,000 injured. This was the second and last nuclear attack in history. Boxcar is now on permanent display to the National Museum of the United States Air Force, Dayton, Ohio, next to a replica of a Fat Man.
Now introducing Boxcar Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Chance Thiel, Marco Arellano, Corey Baptiste, Lauren Bethia, Cornelius Branca, Dane Collins, Joshua Gora, Geraldine Johnson, Stephen Schnoblin, Andrew Staniforth, Barry Tuck, Michael Wells, Jessica Yelkovic, Melinda Zutton, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Lucinda Andrews.
Titan Flight is named in honor of combat controllers who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Titan was a call sign used by combat controllers during Operation Iraqi Freedom and is held in high regard. Some of the military's most difficult missions are carried out by combat controller specialists who operate in remote and often hostile areas. Acting as a one-man attachment to other special forces teams, these highly specialized airmen are trained in a wide range of skills, including scuba, parachuting, and snowmobiling, as well as being FAA-certified air traffic controllers in order to establish air control and provide combat support missions all over the globe.
Now introducing Titan Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Connor Hamilton, Robert Aggins III, Ashley Blee, Fernando Cano, Crystal Davis, Janaya Dudley, Jake Etzel, Stephen Gupton, Ian Hunter, Aaron Colmorgan, Sean Richardson, Candria Scott Johnson, Adam Telez, Jessica Turner, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Stephen Elliott.
On 11 March 2004, Chief Master Sergeant Ramon CZ Colon Lopez was on a helicopter that began taking small arms fire. CZ, then a senior master sergeant, and his team killed 2 enemies, captured 10 combatants, and ensured the security of 3 additional helicopters. For his actions, he became one of the first recipients of the Air Force Combat Action Medal in 2007, as well as being the only Hispanic American to receive the honor. Chief Colon Lopez is currently the senior enlisted advisor of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is the highest ranking enlisted member in the Department of Defense. He is the first Air Force member in the position. The flight was named to honor his bravery and service to our force.
Now introducing CZ Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Brian Alicea, Maria Atondo, Alberto Ayala Jr., Bryce Daniel, Eric DeFord, Jennifer Franco, Dale Janik, Matthew Jeffrey, Jakari Lopez, Darwin Carl Mendoza, Ryan Recca, Braden Rule, Jason Stackins, Michael Choi, Aaron Williams, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Nick Sansoni.
Nemo A-534 served in the United States Air Force during the Vietnam War. On December 4, 1966, Nemo was released to attack the Viet Cong during the night. In the process, he lost an eye as well as being shot in the nose. Despite those injuries, he saved the life of his handler, Airman Robert A. Thronberg, by shielding his body until medical help arrived. He was one of the first K-9 units to be retired and returned to the United States. Nemo was memorialized and honored with a permanent kennel and stone at Lackland Air Force Base.
Now introducing Nemo Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Lauren Huey, Wesley Adams, Jasmine Callahan, Donald Dower, Ian Develall, Francisco Gonzalez, Benjamin Goodwin, Justin Johnson, Mariel Johnson, Joseph Kaufman, Zoe Ortega, Brooke Pietkowski, Cody Westbrook, Drew Zemla, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Alexander Inman.
Senior Master Sergeant Robert McAllister served 28 years in the Air Force as a firefighter. However, he amassed over 50 years of military and government service. Over the course of his Air Force career, McAllister worked virtually every position the fire service had to offer. During his multiple tours in Vietnam, he was directly responsible for saving the lives of 17 airmen and recovering several of those killed in action. He earned many prestigious medals, decorations, and awards for over 1,155 combat missions. The flight was named to honor Senior Master Sergeant Robert McAllister's dedication to the mission and his bravery.
Now introducing McAllister Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Philip Rubalcava II, Jose Aguirre, Martez Alexander, Johnny Anglin, Princess Atulava, William Bell, Warren Bodner, Justin Brockman, Ashley Jasmine, Michael LaBrute, Danielle Loomis, Patrick Lowe, Ricky Rada, Stephanie Small, Marco Vasquez Chong, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant David Bridges.
On January 5, 2012, at approximately 4 p.m., just south of a former insurgent stronghold called Musa Kala in Helmand Province, Team 5 call sign Tripwire maneuvered north on a deliberate route clearance mission to secure the freedom of movement for coalition forces and Afghan citizens. Their vehicle was targeted by a massive underbelly improvised explosive device, fatally wounding the EOD team. Lost in the attack was Technical Sergeant Matt Schwartz from F.E. Warren Air Force Base, Airman First Class Matt Seidler from Peterson Air Force Base, and Senior Airman Brian Bell from Barksdale Air Force Base. The flight was named to honor their sacrifice.
Now introducing Tripwire Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Michelle Williams, Tyler Beck, Jason Ben, Araceli Contreras, Mark Contreras, William Evans, Brian Everett, Samantha Field, Philip Forrest, Carolina Guzman, Jordan Mathis, Brian Palacios, Gregory Bettis, Kyle Spade, Stuart Swan, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Daryl Henderson.
Chief Master Sergeant Dorothy Dottie Holmes blazed many trails during her 3 decades in the Air Force. She was the first black woman to reach the Air Force's highest enlisted rank. She was the first woman to retire with 30 years of continuous service in the Air Force, and she was the first female Chief Master Sergeant to be assigned to the Air Force Academy. The flight was named to honor Chief Holmes' tenacity and place in military history.
Now introducing Dottie Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Diana Sullivan, Nicole Argento, Anthony Bean, Shannon Brown, Gabriel Carter, Robert Cowley, Daniel Fitzpatrick, Adam Garlick, Thomas Hoxima, Luis Maldonado Figueroa, Leo Murphy IV, Zachary Pellet, Dakota Powell, Alikplim Sado, Lee Shortell, Alexander Van Nice, and the instructor, Master Sergeant Samuel Wharton.
Now introducing Oscar Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Jared Powell, Valerie Adams, Justin Antholz, Corey Bashan, Michael Bridges, Michael Brow, Matthew Kaysen, Logan Fontaine, Ashley Manzano, Andrew John Martin, Jacob Mayfield, Matthew McCamish, Quentin Stover, Jared Weiss, Shelby Wiggins, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Michael Napier.
Now introducing Papa Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Benjamin McKee, Michelle Atencio, Erica Carlisle, Rainier Covarrubia, Nigel Cotton, Nathan Davis, John Gosick, Derek Horrocks, Christopher Irizarry Perez, Anthony Lakay, Joseph Mazur, Russell Raznaki, Chelsea Spiker, Gabrielle Vorosokovic, Francis Winkler, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Cody Gibson.
That's good enough.
Now introducing Sierra Flight, starting with the flight leader. Sergeants Autumn Foster, Erica Belcher, Joseph Groffey, Jonice Hargrove, Joshua Hoppenworth, Edward Nickerson, Scott Nussel, Ruben Bettis, Kyle Quarles, Joshua Roberts, Rodney Rodriguez, Danilo Sinclair Jr., Brian Sutton, Alexander Williams, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Valerie Stabler.
Now introducing Tango Flight, starting with the flight leader, Sergeants Aaron Tribble Knowles, Samuel Antwi, Timothy Perez, Jeremy Clark, James Dupuy, Kobe Grimes, Stephen Guerra, William Hill, Arlene Magbatang, Don McMullen, Amanda Mendez, Jamie Otten, Vladimir Salter, Derek Smith, Amara Smith, and the instructor, Technical Sergeant Lashana Reese.
Congratulations, graduates. There is no doubt that the greatest reward gained from enlisted PME is the application of learned leadership principles into our operational Air Force. However, during the course of this class, certain students excelled academically and as leaders. The Distinguished Graduate, Academic Achievement, Commandant's, and John L. Levital Awards recognize their merit. Each award is engraved with a distinctive quote from our Academy's namesake, the 5th Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Robert D. Gaylor. Awards will be sent to recipients' leadership for formal presentation. At this time, we will present our Distinguished Graduate Awards. The Air Force Association, our award sponsor, has donated a 1-year membership to each of our distinguished graduates. The Distinguished Graduate Award is awarded to the students ranking in the top 10% of the class. These awards are based on both demonstrated leadership and academic excellence. The inscription on the award reads, Aptitude defines what you are able to do. Motivation defines what you will do. Attitude defines how well you do it. Opportunity, when the door opens and they call your name. Our distinguished graduates are
Technical Sergeant Connor Hamilton. Sergeant Hamilton is a member of the 39th Information Operations Squadron, Herbert Field, Florida. Technical Sergeant Erica Belcher. Sergeant Belcher is a member of the 377th Force Support Squadron, Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico. Technical Sergeant Andrew Denny. Sergeant Denny is a member of the 355th Force Support Squadron, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona. Technical Sergeant Anthony Henson. Sergeant Henson is a member of the 87th Operational Medical Readiness Squadron, Joint Base McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst, New Jersey. Technical Sergeant Jessica Irwin. Sergeant Irwin is a member of the 517th Training Group, Presidio of Monterey, California. Technical Sergeant Bryce Daniel. Sergeant Daniel is a member of the 38th Rescue Squadron, Moody Air Force Base, Georgia. Technical Sergeant Michael Choi. Sergeant Choi is a member of the 605th Test and Evaluation Squadron, Detachment 3, Beale Air Force Base, California. Technical Sergeant Brooke Piatowski. Technical Sergeant Philip Rubalcava. Sergeant Rubalcava is a member of the 322nd Training Squadron, JBSA Lackland, Texas. Technical Sergeant Mashala Williams. Sergeant Williams is a member of the 6th Security Forces Squadron, MacDill Air Force Base, Florida. Technical Sergeant Anthony Bean. Sergeant Bean is a member of the 366th Fighter Wing, Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho. Technical Sergeant Alikplum Sado. Sergeant Sado is a member of the 16th Air Force, JBSA Lackland, Texas. Master Sergeant Gabriel Voroskovic. Sergeant Voroskovic is a member of Delta 7, JBSA Lackland, Texas. Technical Sergeant Joseph Mazur. Sergeant Mazur is a member of the 1st Special Operations Support Squadron, Hurlburt Field, Florida. Technical Sergeant Scott Nussel. Sergeant Nussel is a member of the 55th Electronic Combat Group, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona. Technical Sergeant Amanda Mendez. Sergeant Mendez is a member of the 563rd Operational Support Squadron, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona. Technical Sergeant Dieri DeJusti. Sergeant DeJusti is a member of the 355th Operations Support Squadron, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona. Technical Sergeant Jacob Belts. Sergeant Belts is a member of the 616th Operations Center, JBSA Lackland, Texas. Technical Sergeant Jonah Myers. Sergeant Myers is a member of the 323rd Training Squadron, JBSA Lackland, Texas. Technical Sergeant Ahmed Abdul Rahim. Sergeant Abdul Rahim is a member of the Signals Analysis Squadron, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. Technical Sergeant Tanner Biggs. Sergeant Biggs is a member of the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center, Maxwell Gunter Air Station, Alabama. Technical Sergeant Manuel Carvajal. Sergeant Carvajal is a member of the 377th Mission Support Group, Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico. Technical Sergeant Cassandra Ryman. Sergeant Ryman is a member of the 311th Training Squadron, Presidio of Monterey, California. Technical Sergeant Hunter Young. Sergeant Young is a member of the Office of Special Investigations, Detachment 812, Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. Technical Sergeant Crystal Davis. Sergeant Davis is a member of the 343rd Training Squadron, JBSA Lackland, Texas.
We will now present the Academic Achievement Award, which is sponsored by Celebrate Excellence. The The Academic Achievement Award denotes excellence as a scholar and is presented to the student with the highest academic standing. The inscription on the award reads, "Increase your impact." The Class 21-6 Academic Achievement Award recipient is
Technical Sergeant Connor Hamilton. Sergeant Hamilton is a member of the 39th Information Operations Squadron, Herbert Field, Florida.
Our next award is the Commandant's Award, sponsored by USAA. The Commandant's Award is presented to the student who consistently displayed leadership characterized by integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. The recipient has truly proven to be a leader of a legacy recognized by classmates, instructors, and the Commandant. The inscription on the award reads, "Leaders set goals. They establish the line of march, they give direction, and they give the vision to the workforce."
The nominees are from Mako Flight, Technical Sergeant Dieri DiGiusti. From Rooster Flight, Technical Sergeant Manuel Carvajal. From Nemo Flight, Technical Sergeant Brooke Payakowski. From McAllister Flight, Technical Sergeant Philip Rubalcava. From Tripwire Flight, Technical Sergeant Mashala Williams. From Oscar Flight, Technical Sergeant Valerie Adams. From Tango Flight, Technical Sergeant Amanda Mendez. Technical Sergeant Amanda Mendez. Sergeant Mendez is a member of the 563rd Operational Support Squadron, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona.
Our final award presentation is the John L. Levitot Award. The John L. Levitot Award is the most prestigious award any graduate can receive while attending any enlisted professional military education course. The recipient of this award has proven to be the most distinguished graduate, excelling in all phases of academics and leadership. The inscription on this award reads, "Training and Discipline. I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it." This award is sponsored by Mr. Musselwhite of Geico Local Office. The John L. Levitot Award recipient for Class 21-6 is
Technical Sergeant Valerie Adams. Sergeant Adams is a member of the 517th Training Group, Presidio of Monterey, California.
Congratulations, graduates. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Chief Small for his closing comments.
Congratulations, Class 21-6. We would have loved for this ceremony and as well as our class to be in person, but due to COVID-19 restrictions, we're unable to do so. You have completed what Chief Small believes is the most critical part of professional military education, and that is the NCO Academy at the Robert D. Gaylor NCO Academy. Thank you for allowing us, the cadre, myself, to be a part of your journey. It's a journey that didn't begin when you started this class, and it's definitely a journey that will not end once you complete this course. It's a journey that's a part of a continuum of professional military education that you'll have throughout your career. But there's one thing that I need you to promise us, me and us, cadre and staff, is that you'll practice. You'll practice, practice, practice. It reminds me of a story that happened actually during your class on Day of Education 2. When we met in the mornings, we meet every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays before we start class. And we talk about hot fries, things that we have to discuss, things that we have to crush for you, the students. And towards the end of that discussion, I brought up the concept of practice. There were a couple eyes in the audience that I believe needed a pep talk at that time. And I told them, I said, listen, you just got to practice. Practice is going to make perfect. Don't even worry about it. That situation reminded me of a story that I saw about 2.5 years ago when then the starting shooting guard for the Houston Rockets, James Harden, was going through a slump. He was going through a 3 to 4 week slump, and he had just come off that slump, and he had a good couple games in a row. And the reporter had turned to him during his press conference and said, "Hey, James, did you ever worry during your slump that you would come out of it?" You should have seen the look on James Harden's face. He looked at the reporter and said, "Of course I was going to come out of it because I practice. I shoot about 100 to 200 shots on a daily basis, and that sometimes there are mechanical errors with my shot. Sometimes there are mental issues that you may have to go through during the course of the game or through a period of time because life happens. But once you come out of that slump, he knew that his practice will take over and he will be good again. That story wasn't just good enough for our cadre. It wasn't just good enough for James Harden, but it's also good enough for you graduates of 21-6. I need you to remember the concepts that we've taught you here at the Academy, and I need you to practice. There are a ton of airmen out there that are waiting for you to practice with them. I would like to thank all the award sponsors for this class. Thank you to the family members who supported our graduates. Thank you so much to the leadership teams that supported our graduates and continue to support our graduates to this day. Thank you to the Academy, the great Academy, the instructors, our cadre for teaching you, the graduates, the concepts that you need to learn to become an amazing NCO. Last but not least, we continue to be a part of your journey, graduates. Never be afraid to reach out. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Robert D. Gaylor Non-Commissioned Officer Academy would like to thank you for sharing this very special occasion with our graduates. This concludes today's program. Thank you.